based on the clues that I see and what I see on the map, where do I think this location is? Is it A? Is it B? So on and so forth. But is that all you're doing? Look at your worksheet. What else are you doing? Very good, the evidence. This is labeled a world geography class, but we try to do as much reading, as much writing as possible, and just really working on those critical thinking skills to be able to look at a region or a city and figure out, okay, how did that city get that way? Why is its population density that way? Why does it have that economic activity?
We, in our social studies office within the Office of Academics, have three main goals. One being equity in access to instruction and having kids be able to see themselves in the curriculum. The second one is inquiry, so having kids really be asking questions and being curious about the content they're learning. And then third is that idea of performance-based assessment, so that they actually are doing things with what they learn and can demonstrate that in a variety of ways.
As an 8th grade teacher, specifically teaching a high school level class, I take a lot of pride and enjoyment in preparing them for high school.
This is more in alignment with the type of college and career readiness type of activities that we'd like to see them doing, because when they go out into college and they go out into the workforce, it's not going to be often that they're doing like a multiple choice exam, but rather they're going to be using evidence-based practices to answer and respond to questions, so that helps build on what they already know and form those connections as they discuss with their table groups.
Sabat? Very good. It looks like it's some low-level farming. Awesome.
It's not Mongolia, guys. I'm really climbing.
Yeah.
In the social studies office, we're really trying to shift to a focus on inquiry-based instruction so that they actually know what to do with that information. We've asked teachers to really think about using a variety of sources, different types of maps, graphs, pictures, to have kids help construct their own meaning.
We're working on thematic maps and identifying location using their physical features, political boundaries, and economic jobs, basically.
So the reason why we kind of like to do these inquiry-based assignments is by talking it out, looking at the evidence, they can come to the answer through the critical thinking process.
We're looking at the elevation first because it's the most noticeable detail. We thought it would be Mongolia since elevation isn't that high, but the climate just wouldn't fit that rice needs to grow. It's better working with a team because there's obviously some things that you might not notice just by yourself.
It's nice in a way because we are having a shift, even at the state level, away from memorization tests into performance assessments. And that's a good skill for being global citizens in the real world.
So let's pause. What questions do you guys have for me?
I do.
Yes, Ms. Harper.
So the question
One of the reasons why activities like this are so great is that students can use so many different things to come to the answer. So it's definitely a farm, absolutely. And I want you guys to think what this might be providing. What might this be providing? It's not, do they remember? It's like they're figuring it out, and there's so many different clues for them to get there.
It's probably Mongolia. I'm just being cautious, you know? I think it's fun to try and figure it out. It's a fun challenge.
It's a good life lesson, I would say, and you can learn about new places, new cities, basically new stuff,
Having world geography, especially having every student take it in 8th grade, they really start to get a sense of where places are in the world, and that's gonna set them up really nicely for a context to study world history and US history, because they start to understand where places are, what resources those places had, and why there might be struggles of power over access to those particular places.
I mean, it also helps because it's more of a physical activity, so you're not just sitting down and listening to the teacher, but you're doing it yourself. So you're finding the evidence on your own, and you're also working with people, so it's not just pressure on yourself and trying to just pay attention. It's more fun and engaging.
I think it's better because if you're just memorizing stuff, once you're out of school, you're not gonna always remember that. You only remember it because you know you're gonna have to pass something. And when you do it like this, we learn the reasons why and how to narrow down our options.
It's really just exciting and heartwarming in a way. You think about in the world all the conflict that goes on, and when you come here and see all these kids with different backgrounds and different places working together and being cooperative, it just gives you a lot of hope for where we are headed for in the future.